Hi everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. James here as ever if you are new visiting. Now today, important news. This is the first video we will not be doing in less than 60 seconds. Due to popular demand, should I say, you guys out there have been putting in the comments below and I reply to all of them, as you all know, that you want a bit more actual time with me speaking about my experiences, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. So today we're going to go through the accountant in business exam, how I think would be best to prepare for it. There are going to be some tips that actually overlap with other exams, so if you think, oh, I'm not actually studying that, well, think again, because some of the tips overlap into your exam, and to be fair, you actually might meet another student who you could help out as well. That's the other main thing. So we're going to go through it today. What are the key resources, and then what would be my main tips if I was going to be sitting it myself. So I hope you enjoy. Feel free to subscribe as ever. There should be a button at the bottom, but yes, we'll see how we get on. So guys, where are the fundamental areas for me personally that if I was going to be doing the accountant in business exam, where would I be looking? Well, first of all, as you can see on my screen, and as always, I'll put the link for this so you can access it directly. So you can, as you watch this, type away, make any other notes. This is the first place, if I was sitting this exam coming up, I would look at 100%. So the first thing I just want to make you aware, as it's going to link into a couple of tips later on, these are the pass rates, and as you can see on here, give or take 4 out of 5 people pass. What I've done for you at the end of this video is given you a reason why 1 in 5 fail, and this is one of the mistakes that you will not make because you've listened to this video. So that's one of the fundamental areas going into the actual exam. You will be confident that you can pass. So that's one of the fundamental areas first of all. Now, next, moving on, is this brilliant area here where it's got tons and tons of resources for you, okay? So, for me personally, I think it's best for you to actually go through and actually explore them yourself, see what you can actually get out of them, and then you actually go through them and go, oh, I quite like that bit, or I quite like this bit, or that bit helped me with that. I'm going to give you 2 other areas which I would make sure, one, I sign up to, and then secondly, I read. But for me personally, overall, I'm a massive advocate for past papers and question practice, especially on this type of paper, where it's either right or wrong. In terms of it, there are limited or even no working marks on this. So they've actually got the sort of specimen answers, practice test on here, and also technical articles that they could throw in as well. So have a look through this, have a little scroll through. And at the end of the day, my mindset will be going into this, I don't want to be one of the 5 that fail this exam. So then I'm thinking to myself, James, okay then, so where would you go then? You're new to ACCA, you're new to accounting, where would you go to as another valuable resource to actually get yourself going and to get the right people around you? Well, that is linked into the actual ACCA learning community. So you can actually log in using your normal My ACCA, and you can go on there and speak to other students around the world who are in the same position as you. I mean, feel free to share this video with them. I'm sure it will be a revelation in their life, but it's always good to have people who are in the same boat, first ACCA exam that they're going to be going through, and how you can benefit from each other. It was one of the fundamental things that kept me going, especially later on, because you should hopefully progress through your ACCA journey together and you'll bounce ideas off each other. So that's one of the fundamental things. If I was completely new to ACCA, this was my first exam, that would be the next place I go to, 100%. Now, finally, where am I going to go to as my third document? Well, this links into, and again I'll put it at the bottom, the actual overall syllabus, and there's a specific PDF. Now I guarantee loads of students will not read this, okay? They won't read it. But if you read this, you will be at a severe advantage. So as you can see on my screen, it's got the syllabus on there, and you'd have thought, surely I'd read this. But it's on here for September to August. I've got the actual PDF open on here, and have a read through if you're actually going through it yourself, but it's page 9 for me on here, really, I would say is going to be the most added value. The detailed study guide. So this is breaking down different individual areas of 6 and then giving you sub-questions that you need to ask yourself, am I confident on that area? And if you can't say, oh, James, I'm not particularly sure on that, then that is one of the things that you need to put in, highlight that you review from your actual core text and notes as well. This is a underused and underrated resource for me personally, and it's got loads of comments from the actual examiners on here as well. So, like as always I say, feel free to have a flick through, go through it. You're going to get more benefit reading through it yourself. I've got 3 main tips at the end of this video that are definitely 100% going to help you out to pass this. So, let's have a look. My 3 final tips that I would recommend if I was going to be sitting this exam. So first of all, and for me fundamentally, this exam is set up so that you actually answer the questions either right or wrong. Okay, there's no working marks in the middle. This is why, in my opinion, a fifth of people who sit this exam will fail it. And the reason for that is because they don't read the question properly. So my first tip is, when you're actually going through, especially on section A, make sure you understand the concepts that the question is asking for. And even if you have to read it through 2 or 3 times, just make sure before you actually do it as well. That is where, for me personally, loads of marks are lost, and that could be the difference between passing and going on to the next one, or unfortunately having to take it again. So mark my words, read the question. Everyone will make a small mistake on this exam. That is my first tip. Okay, so coming on to the actual second tip now is understanding the fundamental areas of the syllabus before you're going into this exam. These are actually in the links as before, so feel free to check them out. But the fundamental areas, the 6 key ones you need to be aware of, so if you've got a pen and paper, get ready to write it down. First of all, the business organisation and its stakeholders. Fundamental area, and there are loads of different potential questions coming off from that. Secondly, we've actually got the business organisation, so the actual structure, the functions, and the governance around it as well. Next, then, you've got to be considering the actual accounting and reporting systems. So how do these actually operate within a business on a day-to-day basis? Another key topic area. Fourth, leading and managing individuals. This will be key when you become chartered and you may have to actually deal with people below you who are subordinates. Now, the next one after that is, if you are actually managing someone, you've got to actually say, well, how am I going to communicate with them? And how I'm going to do this effectively. So your people skills are going to be fundamental, and this is another tested area. Finally, and this comes up in various other ACCA exams, so make sure this knowledge is core and sticks in your mind, and that is the professional ethics. Wide range of areas that can be tested here. So those are the 6 key areas. My third tip is time management on this exam and giving yourself time so that you can go back and reread the questions. This is fundamental, as what happens during an exam, especially when it's sort of multiple choice, is your concentration starts to go the further along you get through it. So before you actually go back and review the actual questions, take a sip of water, a few deep breaths, maybe take your eyes off the screen, something on those lines, okay? So that you sort of reset your mind, so you're going into it clear as crystal, so that when you actually reread the questions and assess your answers, you can make an effective decision. Trust me, you'll pick up on small mistakes and it will make a massive difference that could mean that you pass this exam. Well, I'm happy with that. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Feel free to subscribe below on the button, but as always on that bombshell, I'll see you next time. Cheers.